The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy. Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. It is with great honor and privilege that we are here with Representative Sylvia Garcia. She's representing us in Washington, D.C., and is advocating on behalf of business, for her community, for her district that she represents. And you should know that she was one of the founders of this Hispanic Chamber of Commerce that today advocates for business and is doing the work to make sure that our community thrives. And so without further ado, let me please welcome you, Congresswoman Garcia. Thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always great to be back home. You know, we went through an extended period of voting, and then we ended up staying at the floor till midnight, and then they caused us for me not to come even home till Saturday. So I feel like I'm behind schedule, but I'm looking forward to the Easter season.
Well, we're happy to have you in Houston, and we know your work doesn't end when you leave DC, but you've got all types of other work here locally with constituents, business. You know, we've had a challenging, last few years for our entrepreneurs. What words can you provide to them to give them some type of hope as we look at what's happening nationally?
Well, first of all, that we don't forget them. We know every day that the heart and soul of what keeps our economy going, what keeps the economy going here in the Houston region and for Texas is small businesses. Without all our smart businesses, all our small suppliers that feed into the other industries, things just wouldn't happen. So we don't forget them. And in fact, if you'll recall during the pandemic, when we had the PPP loans, we carved out some dollars to make sure that our small businesses could get those loans and that it wouldn't just go to all the big companies that have what I call the big bankers to take care of things for them. We wanted to make sure that our small businesses, and we even had a special program for the small restaurants, the small funeral homes, because we need to make sure that they can compete. And it's hitting our businesses just like it's hitting our households. It's our pocketbooks. We're seeing less and less money in our pockets and more higher prices at the gas pump, at the grocery store, at the with the light bill, with our home insurance. I tell everybody, everything is going up except our economy. The stock market is going down. We're not doing well. And we need to make sure that we get it recalibrated so that our businesses thrive, our markets thrive, and our economy keeps going. But Laura, I got to tell you, it's the war is really impacting us. At first, it was the tariffs, but now it's the war, especially on the gas prices.
So, do we see any end in sight for people who are working paycheck to paycheck that are really the ones that are being negatively impacted, Congresswoman? Do you see light at the end of the tunnel here?
Well, I always do because I'm optimistic, and I know that all these things are sometimes cyclical, or they come with are part of another issue, like the pandemic. It causes it, the struggles in our markets, the struggles for our businesses was as a result of the pandemic. Now we know this is a result of the war. And for some of us, we're opposed to the war. We don't want to vote for any more money for it. We don't want our ground troops. We don't want our sons and daughters having to go to this war that we're not even sure why we're there. So we don't really know right now where the war is going and what exit strategy there may be. We're still waiting for the White House to give us a sense of some direction. So it's really hard to tell anyone that there's light at the end of the tunnel because we're really not crystal clear about it. But I can say this, we continue to fight every day to make sure that our small businesses have a fair shake. And I do that every time that we meet in financial services. I'm on that committee. And that's the one that deals with all the banks, with all the finances, with all the economic policy. And we always make sure that our small businesses are treated equally. And I know the other area that businesses are struggling is the workforce. And I know you at the Chamber and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and many groups are looking at that. And that is being impacted a lot by our immigration policy. So that too, we're waiting to see what changes we can make because our businesses need workers and our workers need business. It takes two to tango. And right now, nobody knows what the next dance is going to be.
Well, on that note, as we discuss the workforce, we know that it is negatively impacting especially farm workers, hospitality, those in construction. What guidance, what words of advice do you have for those sectors in particular?
Well, again, it's much like with business. They need to just kind of keep going and rest assured that we continue to fight for them. I know I have, as you know, my Dream Act that we're trying to make sure that our dreamers are protected and that they don't end up being deported. And we're having issues because the White House has taken a different view about our DACA recipients. So we worry about that. But we know that together we will be united as we move forward. And I think that businesses just need to make sure that they're careful and that they wait it out as much as they can. Just as we did that during the pandemic, we all kind of regrouped and worked together, and we got through it. And I know we'll get through this stage too. And I'm very hopeful that the next quarter will be better.
Yes, and for them to see our elected officials that are absolutely advocating to find these solutions and that they know that they are not alone, that we are advocating every day, having many conversations. And so stay at it, stay involved, and let's help one another get to this next phase. Speaking of course, the World Cup, it's around the corner, and that's going to bring some great opportunities to continue to promote the Houston area, our region, but again, on the international stage. So on that note, we're seeing what has been transpiring at our airports, which seems to be better. Can you give us any insight from your perspective on how those things are shaking out and some comfort again to our travelers that are visiting the great city of Houston?
Well, the good news is that the TSA workers, the people that actually help you get through the security lines, did start getting paychecks yesterday, Monday, and Tuesday. But we're not clear yet. The shutdown is still in place. The dollars were dollars that were found that are there that quite frankly have been there that could have been used, 2 or 3 weeks ago, but the White House just chose not to do it. And I think people need to be clear. The Senate bill that was passed would have put all this behind us, would have paid them. We could have moved forward and dealt with the issues regarding ICE on a later date. But then when it went to the House said, no, we don't want to do that. We want ICE funded. We want everything funded, and chose a different path. So now both sides are doing something different, which caused it to not really happen. But all along, the White House has had money there for that doesn't go through appropriations. They've had billions of dollars there available to the Department of Homeland Security that they've chosen not to use. They paid Secret Service, they paid some people from the Coast Guard, some people from FEMA, but not TSA. Frankly, I'm beginning to think that they really just did it to create this chaos and to create this pain on Americans so that they could blame the Democrats. But I don't want to get into partisan issues here. Suffice it to say that the Senate version, there was at least 8 or 9 different times that they could have voted to put this behind us. Here was another time, but we haven't. So the good news is they're there. The lines are not as long anymore. But the bad news is there's no final permanent solution. We still have to face that when we go back. The White House is threatening that they want us to go back next week, right after this. We're currently on a 2-week Easter break, but they may call us back next week so that we can find a permanent solution. But Laura, for us as Democrats, we will not be a part of funding ICE for one more penny unless they make some real reforms. And for many of us, I know for me, the red line is they really should have warrants before they break into someone's house and try to go into someone's house. And two, officers really should be identified and they should not be wearing those masks. There's probably 5 or 6 other things I could rattle off, but those two to me are like red lines. When I go everywhere in my district, or even outside my district in Houston, people just don't understand. If these are police officers, why do they wear masks? The sheriff's constables don't wear masks. HPD doesn't wear masks. You know, security doesn't wear masks. Nobody does. So why does ICE insist that they have to wear masks? Ask yourself that. It just doesn't really make any sense. There's no really valid public safety issue involved here.
Well, Congresswoman, again, we want to thank you for all that you and your team are doing, representing us not only here in Houston, but in Washington, D.C., and would like to give you an opportunity to wrap up with any closing comments.
Well, first of all, so many, many Easter blessings to you and your family. And I know that we're all concerned about being able to have a little more money in our pocketbook so that we could really celebrate and maybe go visit someone for Easter or have the traditional egg hunts and all the different traditions that your family may have. And please know that we're working on it. We know that things are much higher cost today than they were even a year ago. I mean, even gas prices for us. And think about it, Dr. Murillo, we are Houston. We're the energy capital of the world. This is where it starts. Usually our prices are some of the lowest in the nation, but even for us, they've gone up to 60 cents to $1, depending on which gas pump you go to. So we know you're concerned about that, but please know that many of us hear you. We're working on it, and there will be change. Just be patient. And don't stop believing and don't stop being prayerful so that all our country can get through these difficult times.
Congresswoman, our thanks to you and your team. We'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy. It is my honor to recognize David Salmon.
Thank you so much.
Well, you have done an extraordinary job. This bank has just grown at such rapid pace.
In '92, we started buying some banks, and that helped us get started. Today, we're a $40 billion bank, about 4,000 people, and we started with about 10 or 15 people and 40 million. We've had a tremendous amount of success. Hopefully, we helped a lot of people in the process and built something that's lasting, that's going to help a lot of people for the future going forward.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're thrilled to have you joining us today. And as always, we'd like to remind you to visit us on the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website for more information about our events. Also, come and join us, whether you're an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to meet people from the greater Houston region to help you move your project together, etc. This is what the Hispanic Chamber is here to do, is to help connect. And on that note, we've got a very special guest joining us, Renee Rodriguez, and she's a visual artist and curator. She's got some exciting things going on, and we're happy to be partnering with Renee. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Morning. So I know you have a lot going on, Renee, and this is like a 6-minute interview. Half a day with your great, again, the phenomenal work that you're doing, but specifically want to talk to you about the evolution as a photographer, visual artist, and curator. For people who may not be aware of what any of that means, can you?
Yes, I appreciate it. So starting through fine art photography historically in my career, which included all of the traditional family portraits, portraiture, sports, the traditions of a regular photographer, wedding photography, some commercial photography. The entire gamut is what a standard photographer would do out into the world until an individual finds that they need more visual challenge. And that was the path of the beginning of the evolution for me to start seeking a more serious side of my visual artistry, where I'm at today. So starting from the basics for about 15 years, doing that locally, enjoying it, seniors, again, all the traditions of what an individual's looking for in a photographer. So then I took it next scale and wanted to start joining some competitions, joining some art walks, and seeing where that would take me. And I became hooked at that point. So from doing local exhibitions in Galveston through the Galveston art walks, that exposed me to bigger experiences that is displaying a body of work, basically, that is a intentful, meaningful body of work on a subject matter, and that it's exhibited at a gallery. I enjoyed it. I knew that was the hat that I wanted as the photographer. And then that led me to PhotoFest. And PhotoFest, of course, birthed in Houston, a great city of Houston. Houston PhotoFest opened my world tremendously. And for another 10 years, I was able to watch, learn, listen, volunteer. I volunteered for 5 to 6 years and went to every PhotoFest, which is a biennial event of showcases the world's best photographers from all over the world come to the city, and the city of Houston turns into an open gallery. All the municipalities, the educational spaces, the city spaces, independent galleries become an open gallery for 1 month every 2 years. So it's a great experience, and that hat and that experience led me to where I'm at today. So the levels of interest, when you find something that you're really good at, and then you learn more about it, and then you have the opportunity to exist in it, you just start evolving it. And that's where I'm at.
Speaking of evolving, I know that you've got some upcoming projects. Tell us about those, please.
The main projects that I'm currently working on is my work that's by invitation at the Texas State Capitol building in Austin, Texas. And I basically create a story, a visual arts story. And what does that mean? So I like to focus my areas of visual artistry now in 3 areas, which is community, culture, and health. And I'm able to go to the Capitol to exhibit the works in a meaningful, very strongly put together project of encompassing art, or Texas-based artists, Texas-based performance artists, which is all of the musical aspects that I'm looking for to accompany the visual story. And then I've added the element of presentation as well. So this entire, it's become an experience, and visual arts is the basis of the whole project.
But it's also advocacy. You're doing advocacy in this visual form. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the advocacy component.
Yes, the work that I'm doing, including advocacy now, is incorporating the importance of what do I want to say through vision. And health is a very big piece of life for everyone. So this is an opportunity to put a cohesive experience together. Example, heart health awareness is in my wheelhouse in the next year or so, to do some collaborations to bring attention to all of the aspects of preventative measures is my goal as a female, as an artist, as a heart patient, and bring the arts to healing on the topic. So the advocacy as an artist for me in community, if I want to bring awareness to PTSD and suicide prevention, which I've been doing with the veterans community, I'm able to tailor the artistry around the topic in a dark topics in an elegant way is what I'm trying to present. So this concept is evolving with me by experience year after year, and it's growing. And culturally, this is another way that we can bring attention to just about any experience. It's a tailored event that can showcase a moment of a message and then bring it through the arts as an experience.
Renee, we want to thank you for the work that you're doing, for your vision, for your passion in doing this kind of work, and for going to Austin, Texas to share all that you're doing with, again, a collaborative approach. And on that note, before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes, any opportunity to showcase visual artistry, it takes a team. And in my moments currently, I'm partnering with some very special experiences. NHPO out of Houston was my inaugural group that has joined me, led by Isa Garcia and Virgie Calceda Arnelas in Houston. And we're going to go celebrate our Hispanic heritage later this year. We're in motion for that. I'm grateful for Latinas for the Arts in Galveston. I'm based in Galveston County, and that is through the Opera House, the Grand 1894 Opera House. So we're bringing educational awareness through the arts on the island. And these collaborations are so important, and I'm very grateful for you, Dr. Murillo, and the entire Greater Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for allowing me to share this level of photography and fine art and now artistry. So I appreciate all of the moments here today.
Thank you so much. And keep doing what you're doing, Renee. We're very proud of you. All the best. See you soon.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy. It is my honor to recognize David Saltman.
Thank you so much.
Well, you have done an extraordinary job. This bank has just grown at such rapid pace.
In '92, we started buying some banks, and that helped us get started. Today, we're a $40 billion bank, about 4,000 people, and we started with about 10 or 15 people and 40 million. We've had a tremendous amount of success. Hopefully, we helped a lot of people in the process and built something that's lasting, that's going to help a lot of people for the future going forward.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. As always, we look forward to interviewing our guests, and today we have one of our new corporate partners who's joining us today. As you know, there have been just so many devastating activities across the country, especially when we think about our students, schools, etc. And our next guest is the Chief Operating Officer of Dynamic Integrated Security, Inc. He is Sev Braga Chan, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about his business. And as mentioned, they are now partnering with us here at the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So, Sev, first of all, thank you and welcome to Houston.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murillo, for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start with, you guys have become truly nationally a leader in school security. So tell us a little bit more about Dynamic Integrated Security.
Well, Dynamic Integrated Security was funded on the premise that we parents want to make sure that when we deliver our kids to school, they come back alive. My experience and the experience of my team is quite remarkable. I started my career in the IDF, in the Israeli Defense Forces, where I served 10 years in a special unit as an officer. 98 of all our employees are retired law enforcement and veterans. And that tells you more about the not just the quality of personnel that we put in the school, but how serious we take this. We are here to protect life, and life matters. You see, insurance can pay for vehicles and for the buildings and anything else, but there's no insurance in the world who can pay for the life of a kid or any human being for that sake. So we're here to save life, and that is our premise.
So on that note, what are some of the things that schools can do besides hire you all, but that they can do proactively to protect students and faculty and staff?
Historically, one of the best strategies, and actually the one that helped the most in cases of active shooter, is being the rehearsal and the training in active shooter. When we work as a team, when we train our teachers and our staff in the schools how to react and how to position themselves, how to keep the doors locked, how to go to the hard corner of each room, we prove time and time again, and this is probably one of the best strategies schools can do. You don't have to go far to see what happened, the tragic events in the school in Christian Covenant School, where the school prevent a bigger massacre just because the shooter was unable to locate the rest of the kids. And that tells you how important, how crucial this type of training is, and it's very cheap, and it should be done by the schools on a monthly consistent basis.
So on that note, do you all integrate technology like surveillance systems, communications tool, train security officers? How does this integration improve response time and safety?
Well, if you go to the last numbers by the FBI, a school shooting lasts seconds, less than 8 minutes statistically. And the response from the police in the United States is between 8 to 11 minutes. In fact, the same report states that the police arrive 95% of the time when the shooter already killed his victims and commits suicide. If we go to those numbers and we will learn on the past data that we have, we know that having a trained, certified safe school officer in site that knows the layout of the building is paramount. Now, equipping them with the right technology will help us integrate with the emergency responders, which is going to be the police, the EMS. Why? Because having body cameras in our officers that activate when they are deployed their weapons and send us all that signal, all that video in real time to our command, control, and communication center, help us coordinate with local law enforcement that response. We need to understand that that is probably one of the most game changer tools that we have at our disposal, aside for having control from our command, control, and communication center on all the cameras in the building. That layer of security saves lives because we are talking about a game of seconds, not even minutes, seconds. And we have seconds to respond and seconds to neutralize that threat. And that is the game that we are playing.
So for administrators, community leaders, what message would you like to relay to them? Something that they can do to protect our schools, students, faculty, that they can do today?
Very important that you know that when you have either the police or a police officer, a security officer on site, you don't want to assign an office for them. You want them to be with the kids. You have to remind them that they need to be with the kids. If the kids are in the cafeteria, which is most likely the second most dangerous place in a school, you need to be there. If the kids are in the playground, you need to be there. If the school is in session, our officer or the police officer need to start checking all the doors and they are locked from the inside. In case that we have an active shooter, which is not going to send you a memo before it happens, it's just going to happen in seconds, you are guaranteed that you're going to contain that shooter because all the doors will be locked from the inside. And that is buying crucial time for our task, which is to eliminate that threat.
Well, Sev, we want to thank you and the entire dynamic integrated security team for joining us here on this program and also for becoming a corporate partner of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Business is very important. We're proud to have you all as entrepreneurs doing this very important work. And again, information is on the screen. Please contact them. Talk to your PTA, talk to your administrators, make sure that your schools are safe. And one way of doing that, of course, is with Dynamic Integrated Security Inc. Sev, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy. It is my honor to recognize David Salmon.
Thank you so much.
Well, you have done an extraordinary job. This bank has just grown at such rapid pace.
In '92, we started buying some banks, and that helped us get started. Today, we're a $40 billion bank, about 4,000 people, and we started with about 10 or 15 people and 40 million. We've had a tremendous amount of success. Hopefully, we helped a lot of people in the process and built something that's lasting, that's going to help a lot of people for the future going forward.